Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Pandemic Livestream. Today is the 28th of April or the 72nd of Maytober. I don't know, I've lost track of dates, but all I know is that we're here. We're going to do some training with the swords, and I'm glad you're watching this. What we're going to do today is look at an action that we call the basic parry. And the basic parry we've touched on in other classes. I forgot I have my earphones on, so I don't need to project as much. We've talked about the basic parry in other classes, but I want to look at the way we can use that to enter the fight. The basic parry is not called the basic parry because it's basic. There's actually a lot of things going on in it. The reason we call it the basic parry is because this is one of the skills that you use and practice on a regular basis. So when things go wrong, you're caught out of balance, out of place, whatever, you go to the gross motor skills, the ones that you practice the most. And the basic parry is designed to give you that opportunity to protect yourself just long enough to either get out or get your head back into the fight. So again, it's not easy, and it's very difficult to keep it clean, minimal, and quick. But it's things that we want to work on. We're going to take the basic parry and move from that to enter the fight and look at the three levels of contact that we use or we can use on our opponent as we enter. To start off training, what we're going to do is we're going to do the basic parry. I'm going to walk through it, and then you can do this at home by putting up something in the way, and then when you do your basic parry, you just barely skirt it, so you touch it with your shoulder. I like to think of this as the schoolyard bully walk. You know, that kid that was walking through the schoolyard and he's bumping shoulders with people to show how tough he is. That's the distance that we want from our opponent. The basic parry is done off of a volta stopper. So if I start here on guard, I'll start with my left foot forward. I'll lift up the toes of my left foot, heel of my right foot, turn just a little bit, put my feet back down, so that I turn just that much. It's almost more than turning. It's as if when you push off your back foot, you just kind of sit onto your lead leg. And you go from 70-30 lead to 80-20 lead. So that you can prepare to move your back leg on your next step. The idea when you're doing this is all in geometry. If we look at a straight line here, all it takes is a little deviation at the back to create a large deviation at the end of the line. And the same is true with our foot. If I do a big step, I have a ginormous movement at the end of my line, which means I've now exposed my back and my flank to a counterattack or something from my opponent. So when I'm getting ready to do this basic parry and this volta stop leg, I want just a tiny little turn so that when I continue walking, I end up where I want to be. As we practice this, we'll start here facing the opponent. My target is just going to stand there. Right now, it's just something for me to practice on. So as I go, I lift up the toe of my lead foot. You'll notice that when you're looking at my lead foot, you probably are not seeing any movement. We're not lifting up the toe like this, because as soon as I do this, my whole body lifts back. So all I want to do is lift up the toes so that I take the contact off the ground and I shift my balance to the heel of my lead foot. Then I'm going to bend my back knee ever so slightly. I don't want my shoulders to move. So now I shifted my weight. And then, as I said, little tiny foot stoplet, which that's in other footwork videos on this channel. And I put my weight on my lead foot. And as you watch me do this, it looks like I'm not really moving. If I stand here where I started, right? If I walk in this position and I follow where my lead foot is turned, I walk directly into my target. And that only works if you have more mass than your opponent. The issue with that is, even though, let's say this back, Johnny has more mass than I do, and he walks into it, he gets himself tied up. That's all fine and good until I change the parameters of the fight. Now, because he's tied up, he's not necessarily able to deal with new issues. So we don't want to walk into the target. Instead, we're going to do this whole style leg. So I lift up the toe, my style leg, put my toes back down. I'm now 80-20 to the lead foot. And when I follow my lead toe, I walk into the shoulder of my opponent. Walking into the shoulder is a test. This is not something that we're going to focus on doing within the fight. Instead, it's just a test to make sure that we're not overturning. I'm going to shift my lead foot, so I'm going to have my right foot now, and I'm going to do that again past his right side. There's my Volta Sable. When I follow my lead foot, I make contact, and that takes away his balance and breaks his structure. If, on the other hand, now I'm going to go back to left foot. When I do this, I overturn my foot. Doesn't look like I turned a lot because I'm still looking at my opponent. But if I follow my lead foot, I'm now way out here from my opponent. So his hand is, his wrist is at my shoulder. That's how far away from him I am. Which means I now expose all my back and flank to anything you want to do. The concept of the basic parry is simple. The execution and perfection of the basic parry is not. The only way you'll get used to doing this is making your Volta Stable smaller and smaller and smaller until you feel that it's so small you're not really changing it. And if it feels too small and it feels too easy, it's probably right. And that's a key to keep in your head. If you're doing a drill and it feels too easy to be right, it's probably right. If you feel like you have to work at it, it's probably wrong. So the repetition and the cleanliness of your actions are what are going to make it possible. I do have a warning for you here. Don't cheat. So what I'm going to do is we're going to shift places. And John is going to stand here. Then I'm going to do a basic parry past either side. And I want you to see the difference between a small Volta Stable and a large Volta Stable from this perspective. I'll take my guard. Now I'm going to do a large Volta Stable, which is not big. This is the amount that I'm moving. It's not that big, is it? Now when I follow my lead foot, look how far away from it. And that goes back to the geometry of the action. If I do a counter side, Volta Stable, which looks like this, you notice my upper body is really not turning at all, is it? But I turn my lead toe just a touch. I guess the best way to describe the amount of turn I have in my Volta Stable, if I put my sword down in between my big toe and my second toe. I'm moving the width of my big toe. That's about all I'm moving. Anything more than that is too much. So learning to keep it that small is what it's good for. So now when I do that, and I follow my lead foot, that gives me the strength. And you see how much he is off balance. I'm not pushing him hard. He's not adding. At least I think he is. He's not adding to what I'm doing. But because I'm catching his shoulder, I'm turning his shoulder, which is then turning the hip, which is making the whole body. So, yeah, I'll talk about that. We have 4 legs. That's something I want to touch on, but again, I don't know if this is it. So there is my action with my left foot lead moving to my left. If and front leg. So I start 70-30, move to 80-20, then I follow my toe. Earlier I said don't cheat it. And what I mean by that is this is very common. People will turn too much and then kind of lean into their target. So I'm going to leave my foot in this position. And if John stands right in front of me and I follow my lead foot, I'm this far away from him. So what happens is people will start doing this and they'll start kind of leaning in and foot step all the way down. And you can see what I've just done to my structure, because now I'm looking at the end result, not the process. If I try to emulate the end result, which is shoulder-to-shoulder contact, without following the proper sequence of the actions to get me there, all I'm going to do is break my own structure and weaken myself. So don't cheat it. And you're going to be wrong, and that's okay. I'm going to do it right again. And I can just walk right past. Good. Go to the other side. See that vitamin D. Correct. Now, I have 2 ways I can go. I can either go front-weighted or back. If we start forward, and this real, remember this is real. But in the real, I'm going to start with my left foot forward, 70-30, weight distribution to my lead foot. Then when I do my Volkswagen, I'm now 80-20. Then go to my right with my right foot down. I can stay front-weighted, but now I'm kind of 50-50 between my back foot and my knee foot. So I can't really move without shifting my weight somewhere. Since I have to shift my weight, I'm going to do this by hand. And what I'm going to do is a variation of open or instead of being on my left, it's going to be on my right. I lift up the toes of my right foot, my back foot, and I turn that foot out to 90 degrees, and I lean on it so that my knee is directly over my foot. You don't want to turn and have no support. I don't know if you can see the roll of my ankle, but especially out here on the grass and uneven ground, that's going to cost me a twisted or broken ankle, which I promise you will make fighting more difficult. I once had to fight after getting hit in the foot by a halberd, and I still have tendon damage, but that's another story. So, for now, my toe goes to about 90 degrees so that it's supporting my knee. The need to turn my toe out is not to angle my hip in this instance, but to support my knee. So the distance that you turn your toe out is going to be determined by where you put it. As I do that action, I lift up my back toe, I lift up my lead heel. When I turn my back toe out, my hips kind of drag my foot so my lead foot turns. You do it at this angle so you can hope to see it a little bit better. See how my leg turned out? I'm now about 90-10 on the back foot. And I want to move this back foot, but I cannot move this foot until I get the weight off of it. I have two ways that I can get the weight off of this foot. I can either shift my weight to my lead foot and then walk, or I can move my lead foot forward and then walk. We are going to go with option 2. We're going to move the lead foot forward first. And there's a reason for that. And this goes back to geometry. Yes. Just that right there. Don't put your foot on my heel. So now I'm getting hit. When I turn my toe out, it takes his sword outside my body. If I lean forward, it actually puts his sword onto my hand and my arm so that he's got contact with me if I just lean forward. However, if I move my lead foot forward, I maintain control of his sword, and again, I follow where my lead foot is pointed, and I can just turn him off balance. So, the drill we're going to do for this one. You stand here for me? I'll just walk past you. So I start here, I turn out, I move my foot forward, and then I can walk past. And our shoulders are hitting so that our, just inside the shoulder, it's kind of hooking on each other, as if our shoulders are doing this kind of action. I know there's a name for that muscle. It's the end of the pec, but I can't think of what it is right now. Somebody will give it to me. So, because I'm back weighted, 90-10 to my back foot, as I shift that out, I now need to shift my weight to this foot. When I move this foot forward, and it's only a tiny little step, I'm not doing a big step because now I'm in a lunge position. How am I going to move this back? I can, but not without shifting my head. So I don't want to do it that way. Instead, once I've done my hold stop leg, little step forward, find the ground with my heel, my knee is straight. As my toe goes down, my knee bends, that shifts my weight, and my body pulls my back foot forward. And that's the way we do the footwork, front weighted or back weighted. It does not matter which foot is lead. It goes, the technique itself is similar. Okay. Well, hello.
So we have a question from Sarah, which goes back to partnership work on this drill here, which is, what is the cue or context the partner should provide so that someone isn't cheating the shoulder contact?
And that's a great question. The way to provide the proper context for the drill is we're going to initiate it with a fendente, which means if I'm attacking John, all I'm working on is my perfect fendente. I don't care about what he's doing, because my part of this is the perfect fendente. Then once I throw that fendente, I'll either hit him or he'll capture it, and then I'll stop, and I'll just stay there. And I'll let him practice his action, and I won't move. One of the dangers of partner drills is that we like each other. And because we like each other, we try to help each other and make each other successful. So when I'm doing my pendente and he's walking past me, I don't want to be leaning in or leaning away. Once I hit that position, I just stop and I stay there. So the best thing you can do as the partner is, if they were successful in the first part, freeze. Let them practice. If we were to take this to an unarmed bit, so if you'll help me on this, John. I throw a punch at Johnny, and spin here for me. In just a second, but okay. Then, right now, what he's doing is I'm giving him the opportunity to look at what targets are available and that he can use. He's not going to hit me 32 times, but he gets to hit me once or twice. So what do you want to do? Okay, now that pushed me out of the way. But my portion of the drill, same thing, was I go there and I wait for him to practice that one action. Go ahead. I'm not turning my head away because I'm expecting it. And did you notice he missed me that time? Because I was anticipating the action, which means that now he's turned himself that way, and look where his next punch is going. Because I was anticipating the action, I made his drill impossible. So, as the partner, you are working specifically on one thing, maybe two things only. And then you freeze and you let them practice their action. We will not stay frozen. That will eventually rotate into this. It's the same thing. I throw the punch. I cover that. Yeah, I said, oh, not so simple. So we can watch the evolution go through him, and now it's going to evolve. So I go here, I go there, I go there, I go there. Now, I have no power on that at all. None at all. But what I do is shift him a little bit for my next action. That was a good. I made a little more contact than I wanted. I wanted to hit you, just a little bit. Right. So, to be a good partner, you need to allow them to succeed or fail on their own quality. Don't help them. Don't anticipate. And that's the biggest thing. Especially if we're getting hit and we know we're going to get hit, we anticipate because we're trying to get away from it. Or we know what's going to happen next. So we have to fight that early. I hope that answered your question. What was the other question? And just that portion there, however. Okay. So the cue on this is actually going to be, well, that's a great question. So what I want to do now, so you'll just stand there. So I start my distance. I get distance, and then I step back. That's where I'm going to go. So now, you check this with something. I've done it. You happy with that? So this is our distance. So I'm going to start here. He's slowly going to launch an attack. Hold it. As I see that attack coming, I'm going to bring my pommel to my left hip. You'll notice as I'm doing as I'm doing it, my wrist isn't turning. I'm just moving my hand across my body. If you were to continue that blow, I'm still getting hit. But with a different way. Watch this. The bolt to stop it, go ahead. Takes it outside. Now, I still got hit here because my hands are extended. So, our full action, go ahead. I'm going to bring my pommel to my left hip. I'm going to hold the stop lay. As soon as my pommel hits my left hip, I'm going to pull my sword down onto my hip. So I'm anchoring it to my body. And for those of you that have spent a lot of time looking at the manuscript, Il Fiore di Patria, there's shortcut. This is the short card in the manuscript. And he has true edge out. I have true edge out, but my false edge is facing him a little bit more. So when I combine all these together, he launches his attack. I bring it across my body. I bolt the dogleg and I pull it down. He goes right next. Going all 3/4. And I'm keeping my point high because I don't want to poke him in the face. One of the dangers we run into is that we do parry with our point down, and when I walk forward, I stab him. That's not a bad thing, but it's not going to allow you to learn the skills you want to. Let's see that again. Starting close to breath, short card. Left foot forward, sword in the middle. This is not the guard you want. This is our starting point. I can start from anywhere, but for learning a skill, you need a base of it. Learn from. And we're choosing this one. The attacks, I bring my sword across my body, roll the saw blade, pull it back. Now I follow my foot, and I take his arm. And you can see I didn't reach for him. You see how his arm is still in front of me? If he didn't let go, I would have twisted his whole body. Let's do it again. Don't let go of your palm. And again, this is a skill for my partner. No, this is an action that my partner is giving me to help me develop my skill. In that he knows he's going to get twisted and have destruction. So he can't give up that grip in this grip. Otherwise, I'm getting false information. I start with my sword forward. He launches. I go to my hip. Go sideways, pull it in, and walk. And this is another reason I want to keep my point up. When I'm walking past the target, this will stab him in the throat. Contrary to popular belief, I like Johnny. So I'm going to walk past him. And look how I'm using my elbow to help control things. Again, this is not necessarily what I'm going to do in the fight, but this is a self-test to make sure I'm in the right angle. So, I want to mask up. Okay? And I want you to hit me a little bit back. Not bad, not too bad. So with this action, I am going to do the same thing, only this time he's going to hit me. And I'm going to do it correctly, then I'm going to do it incorrectly, then I'm going to do it correctly again, because I want you to see the difference and how small the difference is and why it's so important that we walk slowly through the drill. So, go ahead and measure. Second. So this time I'm doing it correctly. And you can see how much I pushed him off down. Now I'm going to do it incorrectly. Measure. Measure. So that time, I pulled my hand to my hip, but I did not bolt the saw blade. That much bolt the saw blade is all it needs. It doesn't take a lot. So do it again. This is how I'm going to do it correctly. Just measure. Measure. Ready? Oh, I was late that time. So do it again. Ready? And I've got that control. So it's important when you're working on this skill or any skill that you move slowly, do it by the numbers, and you don't cheat the action on either side. Don't try to help them. Also, don't be that guy and try to win a drill. Because I promise you, when you are dead, nobody's going to write how many drills you won on your gravestone. Don't try to win the drill. John's whole desire right now is to throw the perfect convention. What I do is immaterial to him. It doesn't matter. His whole goal is the perfect convention. That being said, not everybody attacks with a good convincing. So this time, John, I'd like you to do it again, but I'd like you to throw a force. Oh, good luck with it. Go ahead and check your measure. Okay. So, go ahead. And I can just walk right past him. It's still just as easy. And it feels so easy to do it wrong after practicing for so long to do it right. That's the basic parry to the left with the left foot. Do we have any questions on that before we move on to the other side?
As of right now, we do not have any questions, sir.
Cool. All right, so that's going to take us to left foot lead with a Volta Stagway to my right side, leaning back. And we're leaning back into this action because of his initial measure. So I'd like to do this without masks. So if you will stand there. So, check measure. Yeah. So, my footwork is going to be toe comes up and I turn my body up. If I'm front weighted with this, go slow. He throws his attack. When I make this, parry, my foible on his mesa, because he's cutting down at me, he's going to crumple my sword. So if he's attacking and he's closer than I want him to be, I can manipulate his measure to my sword. So to get opportunity, correct? And it's just not working. But if I backward myself, I change the interaction between our blades. Now I put his foible on my forte, giving me all the strength of his blade. That gives me his foible to manipulate. I turn my foot to 90 degrees to support my knee. I take a little step forward, shifting my balance to my left foot, and continue walking and take control of his body. Do that. Good. Good. Just do it one more time. Slow and I'll mask up. Good. Going through the sequence of the action that I'm doing. Back toe or right toe up, left heel up, turn my right toes to 90 degrees, so I kind of drag my left foot and rotate on the ball of my foot with a very little contact with the ground. And as I do that, again, my sword moves first. And I'm just rotating my radius normal so that my true edge is out. My quillons are in line with my arm. And then as I reach my hip, I slide my pommel hand all the way up to my knee hand. And that's what allows me to pull my sword into my hip and give me the control I need. So I start here, I go across, slide my hand up, turn out, and then I open my fingers. So basically I'm doing this. I've got my grip on my sword, and I'm opening my fingers to that like knuckle punch kind of position. I'm not bending my wrist, I'm just opening my fingers. And I can get away with that because I have my pommel hand helping to support it. So I don't need to worry about losing my grip. Then as soon as I put those together, I pull it down onto my hip. That puts my quillon between my arm and my stomach and puts my edge, my true edge, in the way of his incoming attack. Because my true edge is in the way, I have not only manipulated his foible to my forte, I have also moved him out by an extra 2.5, 3 inches because of the width of my sword. This is where fetters have a problem, or any sword which is a straight line going all the way down, because there's no edge geometry allowing you to move it out of the way. From here, I bring it across my body, not turning my quill in, open my finger, slide my hand up, turn my foot out, and pull it onto my hip. So now my whole body is supporting my sword, and I'm actively touching my hip with my pommel to give me that support. So let's go ahead and mask up to do that. Okay. So let's do it the same thing. You ready? Yeah, all right, now I'm happy. So I started in short guard, or bastardization neutral short guard. Okay. I take it to the side, walk through, and I've got control of his body. There's our basic parry on the right and the left. Whether I'm moving into the attack or moving away from the attack to change his blade position on my feet. So what I want to do now is I want to take that basic parry and move it into an action. And I'm going to do basic parry to my left. And then this one. Yes, sir. Can I check measure? I start in position, the attack, I do my basic parry, I take my left hand off my pommel, up above my sword, put it on his hand, my thumb is down, but I'm not gripping him, I'm just putting it there. I've done a mezza volta off my volta scabile, then I do a secondary mezza volta as I go to tail guard and cut up underneath his arm with a one-handed blow. So let's do that again. Now, we're going to go slow, but I'm going to walk right through it. That's awesome. So, let me show you what I did right there. I do my basic parry. I measure volta covering his hand. I measure volta covering his hand. That leaves my thumb underneath his handle. As I cut up, I put his body away. And you see that shape of his body now? That means that because my thumb is under his handle, I just step back and take it, and it falls right in my hand. Now I have a new sword. And some steps. Let's do it again. Okay. Check the measure. And I'm just going to go through it. All right, ready? And I end up with two swords. That is entry to our first level, at the wrist. We are not going into any ligadura or anything like that in this one. I just want to show you different ways that the Volta Scabile will allow you to enter into the fight. Now, we're going to go into second level. First level is at the wrist to the forte. So anywhere from here to here. Here to here. There's first level. Second level is at the elbow. Third level is at the shoulder or the head. So this is third level. Second level. First level. And first level has more area that I can control because I may not be able to get in it. And here's an example of that. So that same attack, but don't just leave your hands out there. Same.
Yes, sir.
Just measure, please.
Check and measure.
Good. I start here. I do the both the saw blade, he goes down. I now have his forte. I can still hit him and then come across and use my sword, and I still get his sword. Yep. That was a combination of first and second level. Let me show you what I did. Mostly because I think it looks really cool. It's a second level. So, let's measure. Okay. Ready? As I come forward, shut that. So it's just covered. I still do everything the same. Now, I'm pushing his body away from me and extending his hand. Then I just bring my sword across my body with my forte at his wrists, and I can rip my sword right out of it, or his sword right out of his hand. Then I can hit him again with mine, lean forward a little bit, so I can hit him with mine, or if he gets out of the way because he's fast, I hit him with his. And then, if you're doing this for choreography, you get this really great position that you can freeze it. There's first level. If I wish to take this to second level,
Measure. Yeah. Check and measure.
way better. Ready?
Ready.
Now I'm in deeper and I'm pushing him in his elbow so I can shift his body. Now I'm going from a sword fight to a dagger fight. And this is my dagger. So if I'm here, I'm going to pop him in the head, grab my sword, and hit him again. Let's do that one more time. You good?
Yes, sir. Check and measure. Ready?
And if I have the courage, in the senyo, the line, if I have the courage to step into that attack that deep, it's really easy for me to get in there, make this double strike, and he's not quite sure how he ended up there. Our third level is at the shoulder or the head. Good? Okay.
Check and measure. Ready.
All I'm doing now is just pushing his head out of the way. I don't know if you saw that, so I'll do it again. I mean, I'm sure you saw it, but again, I like doing it to Johnny. Can you say something? Yes, sir. I'm just glad Johnny can't hear all this. Oh, wait.
What?
I'll just say that again.
Check and measure. Okay. Ready?
Ready? Third level. And then I end up here so I can follow through. I'm not leaving my sword here, get my point back in play. I'm not lifting my sword out, I'm not cutting with it. I'm pulling my elbow back to bring my point around my body, but my hand is actually staying on my body. And there's a reason for this. If I shove him and I'm cutting, my hand can get in the way. Which not only does that hurt, it's very embarrassing to explain why your hand is injured and how you did it to yourself. So instead of trying to cut up and potentially injuring yourself, you just pull around and then you can stab him off that. First level.
Check and measure.
Ready? Into that strike. You do it the way I did it the first time.
Okay. Check and measure. Ready?
I get the cut and the thrust and the sword. Second variation of that, covering his right hand with my left hand at first level, and using my forte at second level on his left arm. Yeah, we back up. Later, second measure. Ready? Ready? That time, he pulled his arms back and his elbow came up, so that when I came across, I put my filling right in his elbow. Good? I want you to break the hand with this. Let your hand back. So, yes, I hit him in the elbow. Why did I hit you in the elbow? Because I lifted my elbow. When he retracted, he did this. Actually, he did this. He put the elbow out instead of keeping it tucked in. I'm like many people. I like chicken wings. Chicken wings taste great. But chicken wings are only for dinner. They are not for the sword fight. The way I want you to be able to take this into your drill, we've been starting, and we'll do this in just a moment. We've been starting stationary, in guard, and then he checks when I'm ready, and then he lunges and attacks. The next evolution of this is that I'm going to start in a different guard. Or actually, no, I'm going to start in short guard again. He's not going to check when I'm ready. He's just going to throw an attack. I'll either do it or I won't. And this is the way that I can see how my progression is working, because I'm doing the exact same drill, only now I'm doing it under stress. It is important that my partner is not trying to protect me. He has to hit me. He has to throw a legitimate attack so that if I do it correctly, everything works. If my partner does not throw a legitimate attack, I do everything perfectly, it's still not going to work because he's not really trying to hit me. And this goes back into what we talked about in previous videos about truth in training. There's a difference between intention and power. If Johnny hits me with full intention, with a punch, give me a punch, full intention. Okay. No, we're in here. He throws that punch, full intention. How fast did he move? There was no speed in it. I do not want him to do that with intention and power. That would be no good for me. But he throws full intention slow. Then I break on my defense. Again. So now I didn't use my foot. That's why I used elbow. So now he does that same thing, full intention. Okay? And he does it again. That's off. I like those targets a lot better. We have to train full intention to hit our partner. You have to hit them. It's tough though, but you have to hit them. Otherwise, they're never going to learn how to do the action properly. And more importantly, they're never going to learn how to trust the action. And if you don't trust the action won't work. And if the action doesn't work, why should you trust the action? And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You must have a legitimate attack to give a legitimate defense. I'll leave that there. So our next action, and we'll mask up for this, is I'll start in guard, and he'll throw his attack whenever he wants, but just a tiny bit faster. Good? Good. And I'm only going for the basic parry and the walk. I am not doing the grappling. Yeah. Don't need to ask him. Yes, I do. now, I'm going to start the first one. You can log to the tap whenever you want. Yeah. And you can do it from the other side too. So stay there. Go away. And then take it. So that means that now you can throw that attack from either side. You'll notice every time we reset, we check measure again to make sure that it is a legitimate attack. This is not a legitimate attack. So there's no reason for me to really do anything. So I have to make sure it's a legitimate attack. Now he can attack either side. I don't know which way he's going to go. Ah, look what happened. I leaned the wrong way. And he cut through my face. I did that for you. You're welcome. That's right. That's 10. Measure. Second measure. From there, once we've done that drill and we're both comfortable with that, I start in a different guard. I'm going to start up and I go. Work. Better, measure. Second measure. Yeah, he threw a Fidente Sinestro, but because I came up behind the sword, I still took it to the side that I wanted it. That's kind of and from open iron door, there's no real way I can get out there. I don't think so. Let's try. Try it. All right. Check the measure real quick. Yeah. Now there's no way I can do it. I have to take it to this side. Now, as you're training, periodically you're going to come on a question that you have about would this work in time, like that question right there. For safety, no. For honesty, you need to check it at full speed, full power. However, for safety, you can't do that in distance. So we're going to check that again. I'm going to stand here. He's going to be there. We're way out of distance. We're step forward. Not a chance of him hitting me. This means I have the ability to really fast again. Okay. I got hit right there. Okay, ready? No. That one I can do. So you need to keep yourself and your partner honest. And the best way to do that, if you have a question about do I have the time to do that? Step out a distance and do it fast. So you can test it. So we've been going for just about an hour. I have just a couple minutes left, and I want to take this time to find out if any of you have any questions. We had the one from Sarah, but are there any other questions that someone might have right now? And I'll give it just a minute while I continue to babble on. For 5. I guess you could say I'm Babylon 5. You're welcome. So I want to thank you all for joining me. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for continuing to study with me while we're forced to be apart. As we are continuing our training, if you have questions, don't hesitate to post them, and I will answer them online to the best of my ability. So don't hesitate to ask questions. We can still do it. With that being said, I'd like to thank you all again for joining us, and we'll salute out. So, thank you for spending your time with us. Stay safe, stay sane-ish, and take care of yourself, your family, and your friends. And we'll talk to you all later. Here's a fist bump. Good night, guys.